Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Smackdown and AEW Rampage Ring Report. Coming up, SmackDown emanates from Madison Square Garden in remembrance of 9/11 and what a match SmackDown brought, as we see right here. The 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 Demon Finn Balor returns to confront Roman Reigns. What's going to happen with this? Only time will tell. Roman Reigns had that Universal Championship match last week on SmackDown against Finn Balor, but things didn't go. Roman emerged victorious over Finn, but will Roman Reigns withstand the challenge with the Demon Finn Balor? In the way, we'll get to it. Also, to a WrestleMania rematch is Seth Rollins versus Edge. Not WrestleMania rematch, but SummerSlam rematch between this historic bout between these two technical sound superstars who emerged victorious. And also, the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, continues to stop Universal Champion Roman Reigns after he wants Roman Reigns, but he gets confronted by Roman's bloodline. Did the bloodline go far? And then, too, where does Paul Heyman stands with between Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns? That's the question. And also, too, the historic contract signing between the man Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair make it official for their match at Extreme Rules for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We'll get to the latest on that. And on the Rampage, AEW's Rampage, a lot going on too with Andrade. What we can show? Yeah, Andrade takes on Pat one-on-one on Rampage. Could Andrade pick up the win? We'll see on that. Also, two Cincinnati boys, John Moxley, come to the aid of Brian Pillman Jr. Did Brian Pillman Jr. get the job done against Max Caster? Only time will tell on that. But yeah, we got Max. Do we got Max? Okay. Yeah, can we show Max? Okay. Yeah, Max Caster in the main event on Rampage. Also, Melissa Santos, the wife of Brian Cage, she feels some type of way with AEW not pushing Brian Cage. A lot to get to. Ooh, man, it's a lot going on here. But the Pro Wrestling Show will start right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kid Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Man, oh man, what a Pro Wrestling Show we have. Like I said, if you're joining the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing on the Pro Wrestling Show. As we get to the SmackDown and Rampage Ring Report in Hot Topic. So let's get started. What's going on? SmackDown kicked off with the Bloodline. You see right here, Universal Champion Roman Reigns, along with Paul Heyman, along with the Usos, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, as they raised their titles up to show the world that they are the champions. They are the strongest unit on SmackDown and in the WWE. Roman Reigns addressing the crowd in Madison Square Garden in New York City. Roman was talking about him being a dominant champion, and all of a sudden the music hit. They hit the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, made his return back to WWE on SmackDown. Brock Lesnar made his appearance, coming in and interrupted the match between Roman Reigns and John Cena, after Roman Reigns successfully defeated John Cena for the Universal Championship in his championship defense. Brock Lesnar was not here to talk. He was here to whoop some butt and want to become Universal Champion. And Roman Reigns, we don't know when the match is going to happen. But the interesting caveat to that is that Paul Heyman torn between the two. He torn between representing Brock Lesnar and representing Roman Reigns. Well, Paul Heyman didn't have to wait too long, and Paul Heyman was trying to tote Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman almost got F5 by Brock. until the Usos came out there. The Usos got destroyed by the Beast Incarnate. The tag team champions got destroyed by the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar delivering Suplex City on Jay and Jimmy. Well, Roman Reigns did say Paul Heyman and told Paul Heyman to come with him. And Roman Reigns a little bit worried, a little bit concerned that Brock Lesnar is here on a rampage of his own to do some damage, and he did some damage. Like I said, these two is slated, like a lot of people reports are saying, for the Saudi Arabia match. But I mean, why they didn't have that match for Extreme Rules? That should have been the main event. But you know, we'll tell you a little bit later on the show on what's going on with Roman Reigns and what his next championship defense will be. Speaking of that, was a huge 10-man tag team match where we saw Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, Ray and Dominic. I forgot who else. They took on Bobby Roode, Otis, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn even brought a guest to ringside with him. You see Apollo Crews and Dominic, Apollo Crews, the Enziguri. We'll tell you what the NBA guest, Rick Bruce. I meant to say Rick Bruce was in the match as well with the Intercontinental Champion. Well, NBA star, NBA forward Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks made his appearance as Sami Zayn's guest. Well, Trae did some work by choking Rey Mysterio out, which he got physical. He got ejected. All of a sudden, Sami Zayn gets double 619 for his trouble and pick up the win. Ray and Dominic continue on their wins. Wasn't no tension this time, so they got their act together. So you know how they go going forward. Also, too, former SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair awaiting the presence of the current Women's Champion Becky Lynch after they was trying to make the contract signed and official. Bianca Belair saying, "What is Becky afraid of challenging her?" Bianca Belair trying to get her championship back, getting a rematch after she granted Becky Lynch a rematch at SummerSlam between the two women. Well, Bianca signed on the dotted line, making it official for her signature. I guess Pierce and DeVille were more like the Notary Republic, trying to see if they was going to be official. All of a sudden, Becky Lynch, dressed like her husband, doing a colorful persona, decided to wear all red, which I don't get, but it was what it is. Becky Lynch coming out trying to be flashy in Hollywood. She came out there and she let Bianca Belair know what she thought of her and stuff. Saying Bianca about the SummerSlam incident, about what was going on. Becky Lynch was acting too cocky, too arrogant. A lot of people, the fans, were still cheering Becky, but Becky still continued trying to be a heel. But I think Becky's more like a tweener now. Because fans gonna still cheer, but she's trying to get over as a heel, but it ain't working. So, but they saying contract sign is something had to happen, but it really nothing happened. So only time will tell between these two women heading into their match at the Extreme Rules for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's going to be a good match between them two at Extreme Rules. So, hey, here's what it is. Also, too, Becky's husband, Seth Rollins, was in action. He took on Edge in a SummerSlam rematch. Edge sporting the pink and blacks in honor of Bret the Hitman Hart. Seth Rollins wearing that Beatles suit in Madison Square Garden. Seth Rollins taking Edge to the limit. Edge and Seth Rollins, no stranger towards each other. When they both try to beat each other down at SummerSlam, it was bound to happen. Even Edge delivered a pedigree in honor of Triple H. Edge pulling all the stops, even doing the electrocution. Even Edge trying to do the crossface in honor of, who Chris Benoit as well. Edge pulling all the stops. Batista bomb. Edge learning from all the people he wrestled. Seth Rollins trying to put the finishing touches with the super kick. Now and then, Seth Rollins delivered the curb stomp that hit Edge, which took Edge out. So, I don't know. Edge had to be taken to a gurney out. So just don't know what's going to happen with that going forward with Edge and Seth Rollins. But Seth Rollins felt that he didn't feel like he didn't have no conscience on that. He felt like he didn't show no mercy. So who knows with Seth Rollins going forward with that. Also, too, the Street Profits challenged the Usos for the Tag Team Championship. You see Montez Ford drop kicking Jimmy. Yeah, Jay. And you see Jimmy trying to take it to Montez Ford right there with a clothesline. Even Montez Ford doing the amazing flips. Montez Ford is a star in the making. If WWE don't push him the way that he should be pushed, he has the height, he has the charisma, he has the ability. So, and then he has the look. So they don't push him. He could be the next Rock. WWE takes his time diligently. You see right here, Jimmy taking Angelo Dawkins down. Dawkins down to the count. Even Jimmy getting dropped. Angelo Dawkins delivering a drop kick. Next thing you know, delivering a senton. They got the Usos caught him and stuff. But I think Montez Ford gonna be a star in the making. Watch my word. Even Universal Champion Roman Reigns flanked with Paul Heyman came out there to watch the match. They had to motivate the Usos. Then next thing you know, Montez tried to deliver something to kick the Jay in the midsection. Montez going up with a crossbody into Jimmy, and the Street Profits did that tandem tag team, trying to take one of the Usos down, trying to count, but the Usos kicked out. Then next thing you know, Jay with a super kick. And you see right here, Montez was about to do the frog splash to get the win. Universal Champion Roman Reigns looked on, and Universal Champion Roman Reigns decided to take his mask on his own hand and choke out Montez Ford, leaving Montez out and down, causing the Usos to lose the match but retain their titles due to disqualification. So the Usos got by way with that, but at the same time, Roman Reigns getting involved, not causing the Usos to, they're keeping their titles, but not in the fall. So look for that match to continue on between the Usos and the Street Profits going down the Screen Rule. Speaking of that, a music hit, and it was none other than the Finn Balor as the Demon. Finn Balor came out with the Demon. Finn Balor as the Demon has won matches and now has lost. Next thing you know, the Demon came out there to confront the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and it was a match that everybody never thought seen. Roman Reigns got more problems than he got malice. Like they say, when Jay-Z said, I got 99 problems, and you know what? Ain't one of them. And I think Roman Reigns said, I got 99 problems, and the Demon might be one. So look forward. The Demon and Roman Reigns having the confrontation at SmackDown. And we know it's official that at Scream Rules, Roman Reigns will defend the Universal Championship against the Demon Finn Balor. Can Finn Balor this time win the Universal Championship as the Demon to dethrone Roman Reigns in his year-long reign? Only time will tell on that. Because last week on SmackDown, Finn Balor was close, but Finn Balor couldn't get the job done. But can the Demon get the job done and prove that he is here to win the title? No question about it. I hope Vince does that, but Vince and his creative team does that, and then Roman wins it back down the road. So we'll wait and see on that one. All right, that ends the SmackDown Ring Report. Let's move forward. Let's move forward to the Rampage Ring Report. All right, AEW Rampage. We know Excalibur wasn't there because he's about to get married. So, hey, you know how they go. It's still on the fallout of Daniel Bryanson getting Daniel Bryan and stuff, and Adam Cole. So we'll kick off with Andrade taking on Pat Andrade versus Pac, as you see right here with Chavo Guerrero in his corner. Well, Andrade wasting no time during the aerial attacks onto Pac. Andrade, look at this, amazing. And they saying Andrade is kind of unhappy right now of his position in AEW. We're talking about another AEW superstar who's unhappy. But Andrade won the match over Pac. But at the end, Andrade attacked Chavo Guerrero and kicked him out of his group. So Andrade is going to keep his handler, butler, whoever, but he's going to kick Chavo Guerrero out. I guess Chavo had his little trial run, and he probably wanted to do other things. So, hey, here what it is. Also, too, was a 6-women tag team match. They call it Trio. AEW Women's Champion Dr. Big Breaker teamed up with Jamie Hayter and Rebel to take on Ruby Soho, the #1 contender, Chris Stanlager, and they teamed up. And we know that the good team won. So Ruby Soho trying to get her, jockeying herself in position to get herself into a women's championship match down the road against Dr. Britt Baker, whenever they might be. Also, we heard from Sting and Darby Allin that they responded to Tully Blanchard. Only thing was a set up a trap for Sting from Tully Blanchard as Darby Allin got attacked by Sean Spears. I guess they're gonna go over that match forward between them two. You know, with Tully Blanchard go against Sting one more time, it'll be the NWA way back in the late 80s. I can tell. I'm a brother from the late 80s. Also, too, Brian Pillman Jr. Took on Max Caster of the Acclaimed, returning Max Caster, who was put in exile in AEW due to his comments. But Max Caster came back and lost the match to Brian Pillman Jr. And then it was a fairly good match, but at the end, Brian Pillman Jr. won, but he was getting beat up by the Acclaimed. So John Moxley came out there and helped save Brian Pillman Jr. So Brian Pillman Jr. get the rub from John Moxley. Brian Pillman Jr. on his way. He's gonna be feuding with MJF coming shortly after what MJF and him was last week. So we'll see that match coming up forward. All right, let's move a little bit quickly to hot topics. On hot topics this week, well, we told you an AEW star is unhappy. Now we know who the AEW star is. It's Brian Cage. His wife, Melissa Santos, made it clear on Twitter that she's unhappy the way Cage has been positioned lately. Cage was supposed to be feuding with Team Taz, but all of a sudden now Team Taz turned their focus and attention to CM Punk. After Taz delivered that message that CM Punk made mention who he wants to face, and Taz didn't like that one bit. So now Brian Cage's wife getting involved, saying that Cage should be there. Maybe if she be patient enough, you know what I'm saying? Cage and Punk can team together against Team Taz. Come on, that makes sense. Cage can feud with Powerhouse Hobbs, and then CM Punk can feud with Ricky Starks. Makes sense. Hook and Taz and everybody. Taz the mouthpiece, and the Hook he just understudied. So you know she got to be a little bit careful. But I understand what she's saying. But let's see how this all play out. CM Punk gonna need some help, and Cage can be the one that kind of help. Hey, you know sometimes you got to, and then Cage you got to tell her to zip it. Sometimes I know she's a feisty woman. I know she wants you to make it and win better. And she was telling about his success and impact and the end is. I get that, but I mean, he's in AEW now. He's in the big league. So give him time. Just don't, you know what I'm saying? Cage is a phenomenal talent. He does things in the ring that most people won't do. He's a heavyweight that built like a cruiserweight. That's what I say about Brian Cage. So let's give it some time before we start making some judgments right now. Also, too, Andrew Zimmer made this comment that he tweeted that this was going to be the draft, the Smackdown draft being October 1st, the Raw Draft, the 4th SmackDown season premiere, and the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring. So we're gonna have both King and Queen of the Rings coming soon, shortly. Cage wife brag about that. If he was in WWE, he's not getting pushed enough. I mean, give it some time. Also, too, Adam Cole right here. They said that he was supposed to be Keith Lee's manager if he would have stayed in WWE, but he decided to be All Elite, which I can't blame Adam Cole. You gotta do what you gotta do. You just can't, you know what I'm saying? And WWE with that potential Adam Cole guy, you would want to put him in second fiddle to Keith Lee, bring Keith Lee back. Just doesn't make no sense whatsoever. They made a meme that you join AEW, your Tony Rollins, your friends with your girlfriend. I mean, they're making all these memes for real. So it's kind of funny, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It is. Also, too, we heard that WWE signed Gable Stevenson to a contract, and they trying to, accommodate Gable into his role in WWE. Like I said, WWE got a good track record when it comes to booking Olympians such as Kurt Angle and Mark Henry. So hopefully that they don't not mess this up, because sometimes they will do. I mean, maybe it's Vince. I don't know. Speaking of that, Mr. McMahon's son-in-law Triple H getting an outpour of support after his recent health scare. You see Andrade, Nature Boy Ric Flair, Mick Foley, Pat McAfee, Gable Stevenson, all send their well wishes to Triple H, the game. We here send our well wishes to Triple H on a speedy recovery. Also, too, Pro Wrestling Illustrated announced that their wrestler of the year, and they ranked Kenny Omega #1, Roman Reigns #2, and a couple others, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre in the top 5. I kind of disagree with Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I think Roman Reigns should be #1 because he's been champion for almost a full year, and with that, so maybe they felt like Kenny Omega stood out, which he do stands out, but sometimes with Kenny Omega, with his shenanigans and his antics, he kind of does stuff that, Roman he's a strong, straightforward guy. Kenny Omega, you just don't know where he's coming from. He be all over the place. So I get it, he's #1, but I feel Roman Reigns should be #1 and Omega should be number 3 to me, because Lashley Lashley won the belt as well in March. So only time will tell on that one. Speaking of Universal Champion Roman Reigns, he sent this message to Finn Balor that what he's gonna do to him in Extreme Rules, but luckily that we know that the you know how that go. The demon coming back, so the demon will be back. So I don't know how Finn will react to that. And also too, we saw Daniel Bryan make his debut on AEW. He wants to prove himself and prove his worth. So we'll see how Daniel Bryan does in AEW. He's gonna do real good. Him and CM Punk making names for themselves. So we'll see how far they go. All right, that ends Hot Topics. That ends the show. Hey, thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Smackdown Rampage Ring Report. Thank you all. Hey, hopefully we see you next week. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. We'll see you next time. Another edition, Pro Wrestling Show. See you later.